Welcome in, everybody. This is our NBA podcast. Just getting started here. Really excited for today. Wanted to start the episode off. We've got Nick, our producer, in our ear for the first time, which is really exciting. And Sam just got off of a long day on a set, probably about to catch his big break.
Yeah,
So
right.
we're going to hop in here. I watched my first NBA game of the year last night, and it was Knicks Nets. Um, One, I just want to start off on a positive note. I'm so excited for the Knicks organization moving forward I mean, they're playing good basketball. That defense is so scrappy, so good. Thibs is, just showing his talent
Tibbs.
as a coach. And I want to get into the rest a little bit. Now,
Okay.
I watched, uh, I watched a couple of recaps and listened to Stephen A. explain to me that it was indeed a travel from Julius Randle. Um, the ball came out of his hands and he grabbed it and again before he touched the ground. So I guess in some way that's a travel.
I
I've
don't
always seen a travel. Go ahead, Sam.
I don't think that's a travel. I thought like that's the epitome of not a travel.
Correct, and that's what I thought. And then Max said the same thing to Stephen A. And Stephen A. just lost it and goes, "Do I come to you and talk to you about the boxing? Do you think you know more than me about boxing? So do you think when I say shit about the NBA that you know more than me? No." And so then I was like, "Okay, Stephen A. Like you got it, dude." uh,
Wait,
so
so
I,
is the question whether or not it came out of his hands or or do we know it came out of his hands? We know it got hit and it got
I
disheveled
know
a
it
little
came
bit.
out of his hands.
Okay, so it came out of his hands and we're saying in the rule book is that a travel or is that not?
This is a great time for a producer. Sam, can you or Nick, can you look up what a travel is by the technical definition?
That might be hard to find that specific. I'm really curious because while watching, I was like, to be honest, I didn't see the ball come out of his hand in real time, so I'll give a little break to the ref. I was watching on TV. I wasn't paying like the closest attention, standing far away, but I didn't see it come out of his hands in real time. But he was standing right next to him. Okay, so a player holding the ball moves one or both feet illegally. Um,
Doesn't
so he was holding the ball. He jumped. It got hit out of his hands, and then he caught it and landed. Once it gets hit out of his hands, it's a dead ball. It's
it
it's
should be a
renewed.
dead ball, right?
Um,
But there's probably some form of the rule. I would trust Stephen A on this just because
well,
he is Stephen A.
here's just one question, Connor. If Tibbs would have had his challenge, had he not used it correctly the play before, would he have won the challenge?
According to Stephen A, no. And again, I kind of go back to that reference just because he is literally Stephen A. Smith. But in my eyes, the ref didn't need a challenge flag from Tibbs to look at that. That's a defining play in the game. It's a one possession game at that point. You have to look at that. I don't care that you just spent 5 minutes looking at a call. Like
I
in
don't know. A
that
lot of people
moment,
do
that's
care.
why we have video evidence.
Yeah,
Yeah, but you got to get it right.
I know. I know. At the end of the day, everyone wants it right, and sometimes it takes too long to get it right. But I agree.
So as we
As
were
as a consumer,
texting,
I just want it to be right.
yeah, as we were texting though, this is kind of in play here. You were like, "Oh, I want quickly to take this last shot,"
Yeah.
and in my
Okay.
mind, I was like, "I want Randall to take it." But hear me out. Neither one of them is really the guy that's going to go get that basket or hasn't proven it yet. And Alex Burks probably has to shoot that three because it's a 3 point game. And I mean, I'm sitting here this morning thinking about it. Like they need a shooting guard that can go get a bucket.
Yeah. I think quickly will be that guy. And I thought last night was a good opportunity to put the ball in his hands in a situation where he could prove that he's that last shot kind of guy. Because he clearly has confidence. I mean, the ball's flying out of his hands, and he's scoring. He's getting a lot more minutes now. He looks great. And I thought last night would have been a good chance to put it in his hands and give him the last shot. It's really hard to give it to a big guy like Randall when you need three. And when he's the all-star and the other team is expecting him to get the ball. I thought it
Yeah.
was drawn up poorly.
I mean, they didn't even get the chance to shoot it because of the bad refs. But also, yeah, I think quickly, if he does take that shot, in my mind, it doesn't have to go in. But in order for me to still like see something there. It's A, him having the confidence to take it, and two, is he creative enough to get open against, someone like it would probably have been Harden on him. Is he creative enough to get open in that situation and get a good shot off?
Yeah,
It
I
goes
think
in and doesn't.
more so than Julius Randle, because
Yeah.
clearly Julius Randle, although it wasn't a travel potentially, I mean he got his shot blocked. He pulled up, and the ball got hit. It's like he didn't get open enough, and he's a big guy. But yeah, I'd love to see quickly down the stretch taking those shots. Even RJ Barrett, he's a guy who can get his own jumper. Like you see him throughout the
RJ.
game. I like RJ. He can create his own shot pretty easily. His step
And then
back
here's
creates a lot of
yeah.
space, and he shoots from a high point too.
Yeah, so the other thing was Jeff Green took a shot in the last minute of that game, like a turnaround that just clanked. And
Yeah.
you have Kyrie, Harden. Like, I don't know. I mean, those guys were going back and forth for what it seemed like the last 5 minutes of that game, taking turns shooting. But I don't know. Jeff Green's got to figure out a way to get that ball to Harden or Kyrie.
Yeah, I don't think that comes down to any coaching or any player issue except for Jeff Green's. I think Jeff Green should know better. It shouldn't take Kyrie or Harden to yell at him while he's on the court, and it shouldn't take Steve Nash to yell at him either. He knows who's playing next to him, and Kyrie was getting anything he wanted. It seemed like at the end of that game, he's insane. He's having an MVP season. It's just hard to talk about him in that light with his teammates.
Yeah. All right. So let's move on here. That was a fun conversation, but I want to talk about something a little more light. Who has the best or worst cult following in the NBA as far as one player goes?
Okay, player. Because I think 50% of the world would say LeBron James, but that's not a cult following. That's too large. But so many people hate LeBron fans, and I'm a proud LeBron fan. This is interesting.
I'm going to throw my pick out here. I was thinking about this earlier, and it's not really a huge name guy. Mine is Alex Caruso.
Come
dude,
on,
so
dude.
many, and I don't think it's a bad following. I love the guy. I love watching him play. I love his little headbands.
Yeah, it's not bad, dude. It's
here's what I'll say about Caruso, dude. He's cute. It's he's cute out there with LeBron.
Yeah, but he's cute, and then he jumps and his head's at the rim. His bald head is flying above the rim, and he's creating energy in the building. Obviously not this year, but he's valuable. And yeah, I guess I'm out here.
It's like a puppy, You see a little puppy, and it's a cute puppy.
He's
Like
Boban. Wherever he is, people are gonna love him because
or Bull,
yeah. These guys, they play. They're happy to be there. That's what it feels like.
Right.
So that's like the cult following on the good side. Are there any? I'm trying to think of some.
I'm gonna throw a negative, more so not cult following because you like the guy, but Russell Westbrook, does he get a bad rap still in your minds, or is his the cult hatred for him rather than the cult love?
Yeah, I'm definitely one of the haters in the sense I don't hate him. I just feel like he can't get it done. Especially for being named MVP in the past. It seems like every time he gets put with another good player, they can't do it. Although the Thunder had a really good chance to win the finals, up 3-1 on Golden State. We all forget about that. They should have taken care of business, and we'd look at Russ in a completely different way. We'd look at KD in a different way.
Well, they still had to go through LeBron in order to win that title because that was Western Conference.
Yes, but the Warriors won that year, correct? Or no. That was LeBron's year because I remember it was back-to-back 3-1. Yep.
That was the 71-win Warriors team.
All right, so they should have gotten it done to get to the finals, but destiny would have intervened anyway, so Russ wouldn't have been able to get it done. I do know people who love Russell Westbrook, and they think he is one of the best players in the NBA. His numbers reflect that, although this year they're down. But I just think for all of us who have thought in the past that he just can't get it done, that I don't even want to say he's a numbers chaser because he really wants to win and he goes hard. I just the way he plays doesn't seem like the recipe to win a championship, and that's kind of showing in Washington whether or not you think he's got a good enough team there. But I mean, he's got Bradley Beal, a guy who's having an MVP campaign.
Yeah. Yeah, but there's a lot of good 1-2 punches that we both know aren't going to make a splash in the playoffs, and Washington's one of them. Let's move it on though. What about most magnificent mane, aka best hair in the NBA?
You're talking about aside from Alex Caruso, correct?
Yeah. Oh.
Um.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Most magnificent mane. That's interesting. When did you write that? Right now.
Came up earlier. Yeah.
You were like scratching your head, feeling your hair, and then you were like, alliteration sounds nice.
I'm gonna throw Elfrid Payton out there. Obviously.
Is that best or just most unique? You know.
Yeah,
Doesn't he
most
have the
unique,
weekend
best.
hair?
I think he would.
You can't forget about Steven Adams when he grows it out. Steven Adams has those luscious Australian or New Zealand locks.
Who's the old Pistons player? Was it Aaron Baines?
Yeah, I mean he's on Phoenix right now.
Yeah, didn't he have some
Right.
wacky hairdo?
Yeah, dude, he like shaved like butt naked bald on the sides and had like a little floppy on top. It never looked very good, but Baines is a workhorse, and he got good after the Pistons, which is the case for pretty much everyone who leaves the Pistons.
Yeah.
It's tough because there are guys who keep their hair really nice, and LeBron's not one of those guys. I hate to bring up LeBron again, but his patchy hair it's not doing it for me. I want him to shave clean bald. I want beard and bald. LeBron should have that. I can't think of any other great shouts for hair on the spot. You wrote it down. You should have a list. You should be coming to me. And
I did not write it down. I do not have a list. I'm kind of going through. Dennis Rodman,
what's
obviously.
hair like right now?
Oh, but I do remember what you're talking about, Nick.
Yeah,
the flat top fade, tall boy.
Yeah, we don't have Ben Wallace anymore. Oh, I like Jared Allen. I think Jared Allen's fro makes him look badass.
Jared Allen's fro is tight.
Over. Jared Allen is going to be great for a long time, and I think a lot of teams are going to need him if they want to win.
I'm gonna honorable mention in here Anthony Davis's brow as potential magnificent mane action.
Do you remember when he April Fool's dust and said he shaved the brow? Like, dude, just shave it. Like, I guess not. Maybe it makes a ton of money. Maybe he has it insured or something, like Palomalu's locks. Do you remember that? The Steelers and Palomalu insured his hair for $1 million. That's no joke. I'm not making that up.
Do you think like he's like hanging out on the couch one day and like one of his cousins or like a brother was just like, you should get the hair insured, right? And he was like, good idea.
It's not a new thing. Like Taylor Swift's
like
legs are insured for like many millions. Look this stuff up. It is a wild thing, but people insure parts of their body because it's what makes them money. It's crazy.
That's absurd.
Isn't that kind of awesome though? We just got way off the NBA.
Yeah.
But
no, I love that.
Yeah, but Taylor Swift's legs I think are insured for north of $5 million, and you can fact check me on that.
There's only one body part that Shaq needs to insure, and we all know what that is.
All right, Connor, I got a question for you. It's the Pringles can, baby.
Yes, sir. Can I send one more? Can I send one more in the off basketball category in basketball though, real quick?
Sure.
Most memeable player in the NBA besides JaVale McGee.
Oh, most memeable besides JaVale. I'm trying to think because I feel like there's guys on the sideline who always get in those like GIF type memes. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like in terms of GIFable, it'd be like Russell Westbrook dancing on the sideline. Yeah. It always brings me back to like when him and Cameron Payne would be on the bench at OKC. Cameron Payne getting no minutes, but Russ and him always having their dances and going crazy. Yeah. It got me so excited. That was like the peak of when I liked watching Russ play. What do you think? Do you got a memer?
I'm gonna throw KD out there just for the fact that his Twitter.
Yeah, I love the
I was hoping you'd have a good answer for that.
The thing of him sitting there with his phone and then like adding a caption to it. It's perfect. And obviously you got crying Jordan. But that's played out.
Right? That's played out. It's classic.
All right, can I ask you my question now, Connor?
Yeah.
Can Ant Edwards make a push for Rookie of the Year over LaMelo Ball?
Well, the question is, can he? And the answer is yes, but can he win it? As long as Lonzo or
I feel
LaMelo
like
stays
the
healthy.
question, can he, make sense, because can a person on the worst team in a conference win? Like,
No,
does
that's true.
winning matter
No. Yes.
when it comes to Rookie of the Year? So you're saying yes. And
Yeah, because he
LaMelo is
doesn't
clearly
make.
making a huge impact on winning, although Anthony Edwards, on his recent past 5 game push, where he's averaging 27,
Yeah.
he's making them win all of a sudden, and they're beating tough teams out in the West. So I feel like they're going to start being that matchup that teams can't just write off anymore because Anthony Edwards. We thought he'd be victim of the culture there, but it seems like he is taking a leadership role, and that's pretty exciting to see for somebody with that much potential. But when it comes to him winning Rookie of the Year, it's going to be hard to tackle that LaMelo Ball hype train. It's like,
Yeah.
can he be knocked off that train? Even though some of his performances, aren't up to par, he night in night out is starting for a team who's probably going to make the playoffs, and I think that wins it over Anthony Edwards, even if he averages 25 a game for the rest of the year. You agree?
Yeah. Sort of. I don't. I mean, at best, the T-Wolves finish
Second to last.
12th, 13th in the division.
At
best, if they
won't.
win out. And Charlotte's obviously much better than that. So I think, we see that. And I like to call him AE just because it's cool. But AE is not made a huge impact up to this point, other than this last stretch. I think at best he beats out Halliburton for rookie first team, because only 2 guards are going to really make it into that.
Yeah,
so
but wouldn't
I think,
they push it around and make him a 3? You know how those things go. But yeah, I think in the end, in terms of Rookie of the Year voting, at this trajectory now, I think Anthony Edwards will surpass Halliburton.
he's a bit more exciting than Halliburton.
Oh yeah, he's a bit more exciting than just about anybody in the NBA. He had another top 10 of the year dunk 2 nights ago or last night. Just unbelievable. This guy does not stop dunking, and every single time my God, his head's at the rim and he is fully torqued back. It's like watching Zion in high school against
He's
those
so athletic.
little kids. Yeah, I like Anthony Edwards. I think he's finally showing that he's going to be an all-star in the NBA. And barring injury or just being on a bad team for too long, or lack of motivation, because we could just see him go to the NFL.
Okay, so I want to talk about something really quick that is still pertaining to basketball, but not the NBA. And only because a lot of people that listen to this are obviously Sparties like us. And do you think MSU has an opportunity to make a deep push past Sweet 16?
They have a
Can
chance
they win
to
a
make
game
the
in the
Final
Elite
Four.
Eight?
They just
Do
beat
they?
Michigan. They just beat Michigan. And you're asking if they have a chance. Do you know what I mean? They have a chance, of course. They're like one of the only teams in the country who just beat U of M. I don't think they'll make it to that point to play U of M, unfortunately, but my bracket says that they're winning the whole thing.
Enough said. Moving on.
I actually,
Enough said,
the
moving
game I'm
on.
most worried about is UCLA.
Yeah.
Grand Canyon U.
I'm smacking.
Our producer, Nick,
smacking GCU money line.
alumnus. That's sick. Wait, who are they playing again? That's the problem. They had a bad draw because Iowa's not a team that you can upset really, because Garza's just going to score 50 if they're having a hard time.
Yeah.
So sorry, Nick, but Grand Canyon might be right out of there. But I'll be rooting for them because Garza is a villain to me. I don't love Garza. Iowa in general, not a big fan.
So I want to talk about a little bit of, I guess, not the Knicks itself, but the trade deadline and a trade pertaining to the Knicks. I heard a rumor today about Lonzo and possibly JJ going to the Knicks. The trade deadline is like March 16th or 26th. Sorry, 25th. And I think that'd be a really interesting.
Did you see for who?
So it would be Knox, Ntilikina.
Oh, get rid of Ntilikina. I mean, he's good on defense.
And Bullock or Burks.
Ooh,
and obviously a pick or two.
Bullock and Burks would be tough, but who fits
Not
that
both,
Tibbs?
not both, just one.
Oh, okay, either one is what I'm saying is the hit, because both of them are shooting really well, and Knicks don't want to lose shooting. But who fits that Knicks Tibbs mold more than Lonzo? You ever watch Lonzo? He's chasing after every ball.
Why are
He's
you
all
acting
about
like I
grinding
don't
out.
watch the NBA?
You literally just admitted that last night was your first actual live game that you watched. So, and I think I've watched every night for the past 2 months.
Like start to finish, but yeah, I watched the condensed versions afterwards, which I agree it don't tell the full
doesn't.
story because you don't get to
Doesn't
see a
tell
lot of
half.
misses and stuff like that, but you do get to see how well guys play in certain spots. So, but I
That's
don't have
true.
time to watch full game usually.
Yeah, but Lonzo, if you haven't noticed, he can shoot the three now.
Yep.
What's going on there? I mean, he could in college, and we were all surprised when it was just completely broke when he came into the NBA. But he's shooting. Is he above 40% still? Nick, you got a number on that?
39.
He's slumped below it. He's shooting a lot more now, and I think that's part of his numbers going down. Okay,
Yeah.
so 39. We'll give him 39%.
Yeah,
38.8. We'll give him 39.
I'm the stats guy around here. Don't you worry.
Yeah, right. You probably just looked that up. It's probably the only stat you have.
No shot, dude.
But yeah, Lonzo shooting 39% and having started the season shooting in the 40s is a great sign for his career trajectory, especially the way the NBA is going, because he's an intangible guy on defense. You don't even need him necessarily to shoot well from three, and now that he does, he's turning into a big weapon. They say, though, the motivation of being put on the trade block really can do something to a player, and Lonzo's showing that he's a real valuable asset.
Yeah, I agree he is valuable. The thing that for me is Lonzo doesn't need, or I'm sorry, the Knicks don't need Lonzo's defense. It's kind of been the problem this whole time. Oh my God, hold on.
What's going on? What was that? Did you see that? He said holy and got cut off. Like, did he just get murdered?
As this episode is being recorded, I have breaking news.
What
It
is
involves one of my favorite players in the NBA. Can I get a drum roll?
That's all you're getting.
Kendall Jenner makes her relationship with Devin Booker Instagram official.
Oh, geez.
Woo!
Dude. I thought that happened so long ago. We've seen it. We've literally seen them together. Haven't they been dating for like 8 months?
Oh, this is from Monday, February 15th, 2020. Yeah, my bad.
Are you kidding me, Connor? February 2020? That's over a year.
Wait,
I'm glad that I wasn't just like sitting there like, yeah, that's crazy. I'm glad that I
Hey,
had some
good for
cojones
them.
and called you out for being stupid.
Good for them.
Do you have any real breaking news?
No, that was it. Yeah, the Knicks did just lose a heartbreaker to the 76ers. And by the way,
Go ahead.
the 76ers, I hate them more and more every day. The more that I see their logo come up on ESPN, the more I hear Ben Simmons talked about. I want to just scream bloody murder.
But
That's it.
is there a but?
No.
But they're really good. Were you going to say that? They just
yeah,
beat the
they're
Knicks
good.
today, and we know the Knicks go all out. This team will defend you for every minute of the game, and they just beat the Knicks without Joel Embiid, their leader and their best player. The Sixers are good. I'm buying in. If the Nets don't have all three of their guys playing, I think the Sixers have a good chance to make it to the finals. I believe that wholeheartedly. Yeah, Tobias tonight dropped 30. He's scoring. I mean, when they need a bucket, give it to Tobias. Why not? When you need a bucket, give it to Joel Embiid. Why not? Obviously, it's not as pretty to watch as Kyrie
When you need
and
a
James
three,
Harden.
give it to Ben Simmons. Why not?
Give it to Ben Simmons. He'll go give you an and one with one of those weird-looking hook shots with his right hand. I don't know why he always uses his right hand for those. But Ben Simmons, I think if he was demanded to be a better offensive player, he could be. Like, I think in the playoffs, if they have a stretch where they can't score a bucket, he's going to go shoulder down to the hoop like LeBron did when he had bad shooting nights. I'm not saying that he's LeBron and that he can get there as easily, but the dude's athletic as hell. So RJ Barrett tonight, I want to talk about him for a second because I think he's one of the brighter up-and-coming players in this league, he's struggling with efficiency. They would have won their past 2 games if he could have bought a bucket and shot above 30-something% because he gets open. Is it him being young? Is it something mental? Or do you think it's like a lack of skill? Connor, what do you think about him?
I don't know. It's not really a lack of skill. I mean, he's so talented. We know that. But how do I put this into words? So when you draft a player like R.J. Barrett, right, and you're a team like the Knicks who don't have a dominant scorer, who don't have a guy who is ball dominant, who shoots at a high volume, it's like you have to ask a guy like RJ or Julius, who aren't like volume scorers necessarily, to start scoring a lot. And so it just takes time to develop that role. Like a guy like Kyrie, who even like his first year playing with LeBron was eager to score the basket and a volume scorer, and LeBron is fine with him being that way. It comes to him naturally. I think it's just going to take time for RJ to develop a volume scoring, a badge or so to speak, intangible in his game.
Yeah. Hey, Nick, could you quick pull up the Jazz-Celtics game? The Jazz, it seemed like they were slipping a little bit, losing to some good teams, losing to the Warriors, who, to be honest, aren't that great of a team. But the Jazz are showing resiliency.
Better?
What's
and
up?
Boston is Boston is better than the Warriors?
No, I'm saying I just thought the Jazz looked like they may be slipping, but then they come back and beat Boston by 20. Like, I think this Jazz team is legit, and they can do it in quite a few ways, it seems, because they got so many shooters. Everyone on the floor is a shooter, except for Derek Favors and Rudy Gobert, who put in great minutes on the defensive end. And Derek Favors will put up a couple buckets with high efficiency. Celtics, they're completely lost at sea. There's nowhere to go but down. I'm not buying into the Celtics this year.
I watched a lot of this game actually. Go up, Nick. I want to see what Gobert finished with.
Were you thinking Gobert was having a good night? I mean, his plus-minus is the best on the team.
Here's what I saw was there was like 4 or 5 minutes left in the third, and Rudy had 7 points and 7 rebounds. And I'm like, and he wasn't really making an impact in the moment. And I was like, how do they pay this guy so much? How is he winning DPOY every year? And then 3 possessions in a row, he literally just won. Julius, freaking Jaylen Brown backed him down and like thought he was going to make a move on him. And Gobert just stood there and looked down at him with his hands up. And as soon as Brown put the ball up, just get it out of here. And then the next possession, like Rudy Gobert disrupted a pass and Conley grabbed it. And like I was just like, okay, this makes more sense now. And then as I started to just watch him, like I wasn't even watching the ball, I was just watching Gobert. I'm like, this is unbelievable the way he's impacting this game.
He's one of those guys that you do have to straight up watch live and see that nobody that big and that gets that many blocks can guard so well without defending. He's remarkable, and he doesn't force anything on the offensive end. He doesn't have that ego that makes him want to drop 25 a game, because he probably could, you know. And I'm not saying he's super skilled on the offensive end, but he just will not force a single bucket. Most of his points are coming from drop-offs and dunks. You got to watch him play to see his impact. He's proving, without a shadow of a doubt, that he's worth the money. I mean, the Jazz are the best team in basketball, and without him, where are they? They're fighting for that 8th seed. I think he's that valuable.
Who is the best player on that Jazz team, all around? Is it Spida? Is it Rudy? See,
the thing about Spida is like you kind of need star power, and I feel like he has the most star power out of anybody on the team. I think just this year he's become the best player because he's matured. He's had some great playoff series. I mean, a couple of years ago. Last year they got knocked out. But I think his maturity has turned him into the best player on their team. And he's obviously the guy they go to for the last bucket, which is kind of a great equalizer in that sort of debate. Although I'm sure if he drives into the lane and Conley's open, Conley's going to make it rain, because we're seeing how good of a shooter he is this year too.
Yeah. Nick, can you get that off my screen, please? Thanks. I'm sick of looking at Boston. They're another team
back to us. I want to look at my face.
I don't want to ever see Boston or the Sixers There's a lot of teams that are
They're disgusting.
Just upset me.
Well, they're just like, come on, be better. You're
Yeah,
blessed.
I can't stand teams with all this talent. That just sucks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, being a Pistons fan, it's like, use your blessings. We don't have any. When will we get some? Although I do like our rookies. I like our rookies, baby. And I like Sekou. He's still so young. Plus, we're going to get Cade Cunningham in the draft. We're looking good for the first time in years.
You're just set on Cade?
I don't know. I don't watch a lot of college basketball anymore, but from what I hear, we're getting Cade. And I like Saban Lee. I like Sadiq Bey. I like Killian Hayes if he's back and healthy. I like Sekou. Isaiah Stewart's even putting in good minutes. I mean, this young crop, tell you, it just makes me excited about the Pistons when there hasn't been a lot to be excited about in the past few years. It's like they focus too hard on chasing down guys to bring people in to watch. But at the end of the day, that'll bring people in for 2 games, and then you got to win. Nobody wants to go to a losing team's games. And this year, it's almost like they got bailed out. The stadium looks about the same as it did last year.
Hey, Nick, just wanted to point something out to you. This is the first year that we have not given Josh Smith a single dollar. We were paying that man for 10 years.
Good for him, though.
Oh, my God.
That's
for real.
That's a businessman. I loved watching him. Great dunker. I feel like he was one of the names we used to call out in your Lil Tykes hoop, Connor.
Oh, Josh Smith's, dunk contest, 2007.
Yeah.
One of the best ever.
I actually just watched that because you called it out in the group chat. I watched that whole
Steve
dunk
Nash
contest.
to Amari off the head.
That might be my favorite dunk ever, just because I love Steve so much, and the amount of skill to place it with your head in the perfect spot for him to do a substantial dunk after the catch. So cool. I love that. It wasn't the best dunk of all time, but just the crowd and Steve. Love Steve.
I liked J.R. Smith's behind the back. Chris Anderson was in that joint.
Oh my gosh, that behind the back was ludicrous.
But Josh Smith bringing out the Wilkins jersey in front of Dominique, who was on the sideline, and then doing his dunk that was sick.
Yeah, and he really leaned into it too. He gave
that was a great dunk. Yeah, he did.
Yeah, that was really freaking awesome. But we could talk about dunk contests all day. All day. Let me think of another. What's up?
I said all day, baby.
All day.
Funny story. Deion Sanders was at my golf course 2 days ago, just chilling, seeing him in the golf cart.
It'd be nice if you could have gotten a high five. Tough times we're living in.
Yeah, I didn't recognize him because of the whole mask joint.
He's a good golfer, right? He must be.
Yeah.
Do you remember he had the all-time coolest home tour back in the day on YouTube?
Oh,
do you remember that?
MTV Cribs.
He had the bed that was massive, and he laid down in his hallways and showed how big they were. It was the most ridiculous.
I remember
had its own zip code everyone talked about.
Elton Brand had an MTV Cribs episode. It was pretty sick.
I don't
Bow
remember
Wow.
Elton Brand. Dude, those cribs were insane, though. I would watch those all the time. I remember Reggie Bush had a good one. But at the end of the day, Deion Sanders, his just was ridiculous. What's his nickname? Showtime?
Showtime. I played golf with, what's his freaking name? Not Jerry Rice. The old Jerry from the Saints who did the phone call in the touch.
Jerry from the Saints? I don't know who you're talking about.
Jerry. It's in my Cash App.
Maybe he just told you, I'm Jerry from the Saints. And you were like, really?
You're
Horn. Jerry?
Joe Horn.
Okay.
I don't remember his
Jerry
name.
on the golf course.
His name was Joe Horn. It's Joe Horn. He played for the Saints for a while, and he was really good. And he did this weird thing where he would not finish the hole or take a score unless he made his putt. So he would always finish the hole out, but when he had a bad hole or hit a bad shot, he would frustratedly miss a few times and then take an 8.
Do you like that, Connor? Do you like when people are play till the ball's in the cup, or are you more of a
no?
You're good.
No.
We're out here having a good time.
You got it. 3 feet. It's good. Pick it up. Get on.
Yeah. Why stress over something when it means nothing? If you're playing for a ton of money and it's the last hole and it's 3 feet, you can't get that. But
if you're playing for any money, and like your partner or whoever you're playing with is like, yeah, finish it out, then yeah, that's a different story. But casual golf, man, like pick it up. Like we're just golf needs to be way more quick.
The only time
just
I putt
relaxed.
out is probably when I'm playing solo. Like nobody can see me, and I'm just like if I come out here, have the best day of my life, and then people say, "How many putts did you give yourself?" I don't want to say. I want to say I putted everything into the hole. You know?
Yeah.
Can we get back to basketball?
Yeah, maybe.
LeBron's still playing every game. What the hell? Is it because? Do you think LeBron is like going for the MVP? Because it seemed like at the beginning of the year, but then he kind of tailed off from like having a really good start.
No,
and then,
I don't think he cares one crap about accolades. I don't think he cares about anything like that. I do think he cares about scoring, like all-time, like scoring list and all-time minutes and all that stuff.
That's true. I kind of forgot about that.
No, I think he's 40 whatever years old that he is, and he still is having fun playing basketball.
He's 36.
You get the point.
I do get the
point. He's a dinosaur, and he's still
playing.
having fun. He's still having fun playing basketball. And that's what's awesome. 50,000 minutes on those knees, like
it's unbelievable, and he doesn't show it too. Although he kind of does, because sometimes he doesn't run for certain balls that he would have when he was younger. He's really good at maintaining. I mean, that's what he's best at out of anything. Let's see here.
Or how
about? Do you think the Pelicans have a legitimate chance to make a push for that play-in game?
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, the way you phrased that, I thought you were about to say to push for like a chance to win a playoff series, and there's no way. But
but it'd be fun to watch them. I think they'd win a game. I think any 8th seed in the West wins a game. Do you feel that same way in the first round?
Yeah, sure. That's like taking a bite out of a donut and saying it's good. Like you don't ever bet a sweep. Like
but historically, there's a ton of 1 to 8 sweeps. That's like the way it goes. I'm saying the West is so deep. Yeah. Any one of these teams that sneaks in is not meant to be there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think there's maybe 4 teams. Nick, you can actually look this up for us. Overall standings, like not including Eastern and Western Conference, how many Eastern Conference versus Western Conference teams would make the playoffs if they eliminated if they just took the top, 16 teams?
It's about the same right now. You'd be disappointed. Yeah, because the 10th seed in the West is the Grizzlies, 17-19, and in the East it's the Pacers, 17-21. It's pretty locked tight. Yeah, although the Warriors are the 9th at 20-20, and Bulls are 18-20. But it's like it seems way off because you look at the actual names of these teams in the West, and you're like, these guys are legit, you know.
Yeah, there we go.
But
the other difference is Warriors are playing against Phoenix and LA, both LAs, and Denver all the time.
Yeah,
and
I know.
the Pacers
I
aren't
completely agree,
teams.
Connor, that the West is stacked. I'm just saying, in terms of that specific angle, it doesn't hold true anymore. At the beginning of the year, it was a little bit, but since the Hawks have made a decent run, the Celtics went on a run. The Knicks have had some decent. I mean, aside from these last 2 nights when they lost close ones. But, yeah, those records are kind of evening out on both ends.
I'm getting fucking tired.
Nick, I want to hear something because I'm out of...
Yeah.
Yeah, I love rankings. Power rankings? Of what? Yeah, but... Oh, like just straight up right now, who's the best, like, team? Not like best player or like MVP power rankings. But I do want to talk about the first few. Because putting the Jazz over the Nets, I don't know. I mean, the Nets keep covering their spreads and everything. The Nets look really dangerous, and the power ranking should be affected a little bit by them being this good without Kevin Durant and Blake Griffin, whether or not Blake Griffin's going to help them. I just think, like, right now, if I were to put all my money on the line, who's going to win the championship, it's the Nets, and it's definitely not the Jazz. And then, yeah, we can move down. Phoenix Suns, Connor, do you think they're the 3rd best team in the NBA right now?
I have bias here.
They're beating teams pretty bad.
They are beating teams, but They're an injury or two away from being a middling Western Conference team, and they're playing at their absolute peak potential right now. And
It's
I think
kind
a
of,
lot of these
I
other
mean,
teams aren't.
they're super similar to the Jazz in that way. Like they're just a team with above average talent that is trying to win every single game. When you watch them, they clearly have a little more motivation than when you watch the Lakers.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like I'm trying to say is the team like Phoenix are playing their peak basketball, like their best basketball they're playing right now, and the teams like the Lakers are playing their absolute worst without AD. Like there's no way they get worse when AD comes back. You know what I mean? So it's like, how do you compare two teams, at these levels when really
you're right.
it's like this?
100%. Do you think they deserve to be above the Sixers in this power ranking?
As much as I want to say yeah, but no. I mean, Embiid is
I don't think so
clearly
either. I
an
feel like it's the
MVP
hot
candidate.
pick right now.
Yeah. Keep
But
going,
the
Nate.
Sixers kind of deserve to be on top. Lakers, skip them.
I don't. Yeah.
Lakers above
hard.
Clippers, I believe. Lakers, just regular season right now for the Lakers, just don't really matter. Like the games don't matter to them. They just got to get a decent seed in the West, and they know that they have one goal and it's to win the championship. And if that means they have to go through some tough teams, I mean, there's no escaping it in the West anyway. But yeah, Clippers are just very solid, but I don't think they can do it. I don't think they can take it all the way. What do you think, Connor, about the Bucks? Because they started really slow, and now they're just kind of pumping out wins.
I'll just say this: I miss Michael Redd.
I always used to love the Bucks too. Do you remember Brandon Jennings when he had that 55-point game as a rookie?
Yeah, that was
one
crazy.
of my favorite games I've ever watched live.
Yeah,
I mean, Brandon Jennings,
in reality,
just a lefty shooter.
In reality, with Milwaukee,
with
I would love to see them go get one of these guys at the deadline and make a push to beat the Sixers.
Harrison Barnes.
And this brings me to another point I wanted to talk about, and we kind of mentioned this today, but I'm just gonna throw four names at you real quick. Want to see your opinion? Steph Curry, James Harden, Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, and it's crazy to think that those three players are on the same team. I didn't even think about that until just now. But who's more unguardable than them?
Oh, wait. You're talking...
Of those four, who's the most unguardable, undefendable player?
And you included Steph Curry in that for some reason?
Yeah.
Who's the most unguardable? I think Steph has shown that he's guardable in a few finals performances.
Or he just misses shots.
Or he just misses, yeah. But, when you can lock somebody down for a series... They prove to be relatively guardable. I think out of these people, I don't want to say James Harden because he'll draw the foul, but he won't always get the bucket, and he's not the best shooter out of these guys. From what I've been watching lately, it's hard to not say Kyrie Irving because it's like every shot he takes, you think to yourself, that's going in, even if it's a ridiculous shot.
And
he plays with such grace. He's the most coordinated guard in the history of the game. He can finish.
Isaiah Thomas is up there, but yeah.
Yeah, sure, he's up there, but it's right now. It's just hard to see anybody with more skill. It's hard to even imagine in the future seeing anybody with more skill than him. He's remarkable.
Yeah.
And then Kevin Durant is just his size makes him really hard to guard. But out of that four, I'm going to say Kyrie because I'm going to give some props to the shorter guy and. Just the way he's playing, right now, is unstoppable.
Yeah, Kyrie he's so fun to watch for me, and I hate that they're all three on the same team. But yeah, you're so right. He plays with grace, and it's effortless, and the way the ball spins, coming off his hand, is so pure every time he shoots it.
Yeah, it's perfect. And this role where he can float around for the Nets and just score in spurts when he wants. It's suiting him so well, and he's really taking advantage of it. God, this is the best I've ever seen him play.
Do you remember Harden? I think it was last year. It might have been the year before the bubble because I get that really confused. But do you remember his 50 and 60-point streaks where he was just scoring buckets every night for 2 months straight? And
he had to.
now he's averaging putting up like 20, 15, and 15 games like he did last night. Like, talk about a guy that's versatile and just will get it done.
Yeah.
I love that for him, and I don't think he can keep it up though.
I think he can keep it up. I think he's proving to everyone that he can offensively do just about anything. And he's also proving to people that he's not selfish on the offensive side of the ball, because it seems like in Houston he just was doing what he had to do. Now, we used to think, oh, maybe he's a little too, maybe not ball dominant, but he's taking too many shots. He's not shooting super efficiently.
Part
maybe
of that
he
is
should.
the D'Antonio system, where it's like
D'Antoni.
D'Antoni. I don't think that's how you say it. Maybe
D'Antonio is
It
the
might be.
old Michigan State football coach.
It's spelled the same way, but yeah.
No, it's not.
Is it not?
It's Mike D'Antoni and Mark D'Antonio.
I've never called him Mike D'Antoni.
Like D
but
apostrophe, right?
You're probably right, and I'm not educated.
I know you're wrong.
Let's go there.
I don't
Anyways,
know if I'm right.
D'Antoni, my guy, my fucking guy, D'Antoni. All of his guards always play better than they do anywhere else, and I think Harden obviously was a.
But was he
a
playing
product
better
of that system?
There? Do you think his 50, 60 point was better than what he's doing right now?
Statistically.
I don't know.
But
In terms of like, I wonder what his PER is this year compared to last year.
as a net, yeah.
I don't know, because he seems to be like unbelievably efficient, and he rebounds the ball when he has to, and he always could, like when he needed to. But man, he's unbelievable. His versatility has shocked. It seems like he's shocked the world. It's like we all started to doubt him because when he started making a ruckus in Houston, we all kind of were like, oh, you know what, you're not that good. You can't just disrespect this organization. But then he comes over and he changes his game entirely to fit this Nets team. And now they're looking like maybe the favorite to win the finals without KD. That's how good they look right now. And that's because of that's because of Kyrie also. But that's because Harden's giving Kyrie the ball, and Harden's also making all these other guys better. Joe Harris is having his best year. Jeff Green looks good, except when he's trying to create his own shot. Even when Claxton comes off the bench, everyone's benefiting from the way Harden's playing on that Nets team, and it's scary because I don't want them to do it at the end of the season.
Why did Houston make the move to get Russ? Because I remember us specifically the day that happened being like, nope, no shot they get better.
Mm-hmm.
No shot that Russ and Harden, win a title. No shot they upset the Warriors, all that stuff. And it's like, if we, mere mortals, knew this, then why did the Rockets organization think that getting Russ makes Houston a finals contender, especially after they had just taken the Warriors to 7 games again, or 6 games. It's like,
so,
you're one step away.
Here's the thing. In Houston, they needed a superstar. To win a championship, they needed another star, and it seemed like they couldn't get any other big star at the time. And Russ came along, and they were like, well, we can't get any other big star that complements Harden better, so we're gonna roll the dice, and we're gonna see if these two ball dominant superstars can work together. And I think a lot of people thought it wasn't gonna work, but I don't know if they were delusional. I don't think they thought it was the best fit. I thought they were like, we need a superstar. This is our window, and they went for it, and it just didn't pan out a little more predictably than some other organizations when they acquire superstars. Who would have, tracking back to that moment in time for Houston, if they could have gotten anybody, who would have been the best fit to make them win a championship, you think?
LeBron, Harden, LeBron,
Harden's
Giannis,
already on the team.
Yeah, no, I'm saying like there's a million guys. It's a tough call, but I thought Paul George was available at that time, and adding him defensively would have been a great move. But
I don't think Paul George would have done it, though. Do you?
He was playing so well, and
I don't think he would have done it.
He has the defensive end factor, but yeah, I don't think he would have done it necessarily either. But it gives you a lot better shot because you knew going into the Russ deal that this is either going to make them better or blow the ship up. And I don't think PG blows the ship up the way it did, because now Harden's gone and now Rockets are bad for a long time again.
Yeah, they've lost 15 games straight, unless they won tonight. I think they may have won tonight. I know Jayshawn Tate. No, I don't know. Jayshawn Tate was having a good night, which I like him. No, they lost to the Hawks, so they're on a 16-game skid. I'm pretty sure. Huh?
Oh, here's a quick narrative. Do LaMelo and Lonzo work out together all summer? And does that help LaMelo get better this offseason? Or does LaMelo go work out with Kawhi and some other dudes in LA and actually play against good players? Or does LeVar just lock them into a cell and make them work out together all year?
Do you think LaMelo will have more opportunities to be working out with the best players because he's kind of got some star power coming in off a potential
100%.
rookie of the year? So
I wonder
you think
who his agent group is.
You think
Nick, look that up.
He's in, and then he's gonna have to be like, "Hey, come on, my brother wants to come. Can you let him in, LeBron? Come on, Lonzo's here. He's in the car." And LeBron's like, "I don't know, man.
No. I think LeBron likes Lonzo actually because I think he loves any guy that has a playmaking ability, and they're with a Rock. That's cool. So he's in there with Kyrie.
Because I feel like when you say that, you're saying Lonzo is able to work out with all these guys, and LaMelo's able to work out with all these guys, and Lonzo's not. But
no,
I think
he is. I think they both are. But I'm saying, my question was more, does LeVar
have them as the Ball brothers in the Triple B gym?
Yeah,
and this is where we grind, type deal.
I feel like he stepped back enough to let them, become the stars in their own way. Ever since he stepped back, I feel like Lonzo's been performing better. And clearly LaMelo's having this great season.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure LeVar is just banned from ESPN. That's why he's been more quiet.
Yeah, so he's still that domineering father, but he's just not on the screen.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I think they work out together just because they like to. I think it comes down to that. They're brothers, and it seems like they're best friends too. It seems like they don't have a lot of problems with each other.
Do you think off-season workouts with guys that are the stars working out together, like Giannis used to work out with Kobe and Paul George, do you think
Giannis
really
worked out with Paul George?
Paul George used to work out with Kobe.
Okay, because what I'm saying, I think it's cool to work out with a guy who's out of the league, who's a mentor like Giannis. But I like how Giannis sticks to that and doesn't work out, doesn't become buddy with anyone. I like his fierce 90s basketball mentality, 80s basketball mentality, because I do think sometimes when these guys are working out together, getting too friendly, it kind of takes away some of the competitive edge. Do you know if Damian Lillard works out with other stars?
There's
I feel like
no
he works
shot.
Out.
Dame
yeah, that's what I'm saying. I feel like there's a list of guys you could go down and be like, "There's no way that guy works out with other stars in the NBA. There's no way this guy works out with other stars." And I personally prefer that way to go about it. I like how these guys are these aren't my friends. These are my competitors.
Yeah,
they're not my coworkers. You can call your teammates your coworkers, but when it comes to your rivals,
Jordan and Barkley used to work out together all the time.
Yeah, I mean, it's been going on for a long time. I guess it's just I like the guys like Giannis who are a little more no, I'm not going to work out with you and show you how much better I'm getting. I'm gonna come dominate you on the court, and then you'll see. I don't know, but you're right. I mean, I feel like LeBron's already one of those elder statesmen in the NBA who will work out with other people, other young guys, and I think that's a good thing too. I guess I'm not against it, but as a fan, think it's more interesting to see guys be a little more. How do I put it? A little more fierce in their competition.
Yeah, I think once you've kind of proven the things that LeBron has proven, it's your mindset is still very fixated on winning a championship, but at the same time, you know that you have a responsibility to help push and lead guys in the right direction, especially when you come from a background of no money and poverty, like we talked about with the Hummer, and that making an impact and being a role model is so important. I think that's part of LeBron's mindset is how can I lead these guys off the court to become better? And,
To close this out, Connor, I want to ask you something. Do you think that the NBA is going to get together with the refs? I mean, they're all part of the same umbrella, but do you think in this offseason they're going to make some rule reform that will speed up games? Obviously, you don't want to not protect the players, but do you think that rule reform is needed after such a funky start to the season, refereeing-wise?
Do you want my honest opinion on this? Because I
Yes.
don't think you want to hear it.
I want your honest opinion. Do you think they should, or no, do you think they will?
Oh, you just set yourself up. No, man, the NBA is in conjunction with the referees. This is not something we haven't seen in the past, where it's not fixing necessarily, but they're pushing games towards ratings. They're pushing games towards what makes them the most money, and I think it's always been this way, at least in the last 10 years. And I think that the teams that bring in the most revenue for the NBA are the teams that are favored, and the teams that behind the scenes they want to see narratives pushed X and Y. The NBA has been unbelievable in the last 10 years, or in the LeBron era even, at creating narratives, making those narratives interesting, and getting fans and people to watch more games because of those narratives. And the refs play a role in that by putting teams on pedestals, so to speak, and players in order to push those narratives.
I understand what you're saying, and it makes me a little depressed, but I just don't think a ref can change a game that much unless it's already a very close game down the stretch. Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
How far can it go? Because you can watch a whole game and you're like, a couple calls, whatever. But a couple calls aren't going to win a game unless the one call is the very end of the game, tie game, and you put the team on the free throw line. That's what it feels like to me. I guess there's a slow burn, and these guys are pros, but I choose to believe that they don't have enough influence on the game to write these narratives. I think the narratives make themselves up, and I think they have all time in the history of sports.
So in poker, there's this thing, it's called odds, but then there's implied odds, and it works a little differently than your normal odds of just getting a random card. And the way poker odds work is it's built over infinity. So if you made the same decision an infinite amount of times, your odds are this. And then there's the odds of, in just this specific hand, with these amount of cards dealt, this is your odds here. And so if you stack the referees a certain way against implied odds or infinity, then it becomes a much heavier chance that the narrative or whatever you want to be pushed will be pushed that way. So I think, yeah, you're right.
But this is insinuating that the NBA is getting together with these refs and telling them to make certain teams win.
Yeah,
and you think that's going on?
And I 100% think that's going on, and I don't see a single way that it is not going on, and not just from the eye test, but from the fact that there's millions and millions and millions and millions and millions and billions of dollars in the NBA, and that they need to pay and create revenue, and they need to continue to do that. And the more they can create revenue, that's the referees and controlling the narrative is part of that.
I'm just gonna agree to disagree. I'm gonna be optimistic. I don't think that they get together with the refs and tell them which team that they want to win. I just can't imagine that wouldn't come out. Obviously, we've seen instances in the past where referees gamble and then they fix games. But in terms of the NBA as an organization going to their refs and telling them that this team has to win, I don't buy it. I think these players have too much pride. I think if it were the case, there would be an uprising of sorts because they'd figure it out. You know what I mean? They're there. They could absolutely figure out that these games are fixed.
I think the players do know that, for one, and I don't think it's sorry, I just stuttered. I don't think it's a situation where the refs are in a huddle in the locker room before the game, and Adam Silver walks in and is like, "Rockets tonight" or whatever. I think it's a situation where, just like we see in politics, where it's like there's an understanding of what the NBA is trying to do, and an understanding of how to make the most money and grow yourself in the company, so to speak.
But do these refs have equity in the NBA? How do you get them to do it? How much are you paying them to keep that secret? I think this is a wild conspiracy, and I don't believe it.
I think
I'll do my research and provide some statistics because I don't have them off the top of my head. But
Yeah,
that's
I
where I
want you
think.
to show me what you find because it kills me to think that that's a possibility. So I'm just gonna keep my head down and keep pushing, keep watching basketball.
Send it.
All right, so this is gonna wrap it up. This has been our first episode of what are we calling it?
Call it NBA.
We don't need to call it anything right now.